Hello, everybody. The Irish Demon here, back again, spreading some Christmas cheer. I had to wash my Santa hat. Note to self: don't wash it in water with Viagra in it. Anyway, welcome. Today we're going to actually be bringing you a story from right here in Ireland. I don't know if you guys know, but a couple of years ago there was some pretty severe riots here in Dublin. Dublin is the capital city of Ireland. It is quickly becoming the biggest city in the world because it keeps Dublin and Dublin. There is only one real city in Ireland, and that is Cork. We have to acknowledge Dublin because we're forced to do so. But other than that, Cork, the city from whence I come, is the only true city and the true capital, the People's Republic of Cork. Anyway, so back there in, what year was it? It was a couple of years ago. There was a really horrible incident in Dublin where some children were by a nasty man, and I can't really say, you know what I'm saying. It was pretty bad, so it did result in some riots in the city. But why I'm bringing you this story is because it's what happened in court thereafter. So there was a lady brought up for it, she's a 34-year-old woman from Dublin, and it's what she said to the judge that is particularly funny in this case. Basically, just to cut a long story short, she told the judge to F off. And by F, I don't mean feck. I mean the other one. But let's have a look at the story. It's terrible, but it's kind of funny. Let's have a look. So, I'm sorry. This is from RT, Radio Telefíséireann, which is the Irish national broadcaster. So, a woman who set fire to a Dublin bus during the 2023 Dublin riots, causing nearly €500,000 worth of damage, has been jailed for 6 years. Prior to her case being finished, Leanne Kelly, 34, told Judge Martina Baxter to fuck off. And to sentence her instead of putting the case back for a governor's report and a urine analysis. "You're not getting any urines out of me," she told the judge. Now, what I imagine happened, I don't know this for a fact, but being an Irish judge, she probably thought, me fuck off. How about you fuck off to jail? Because I'm going to stay right here. So yeah, apparently they're not getting any urines out of her. So the judge went ahead anyway and sentenced her. So Judge Baxter went on to pass sentence on Kelly of no fixed abode, who pleaded guilty to criminal damage of a bus on O'Connell Bridge, that's the bridge right in the middle of Dublin City, during the Dublin riots on the 23rd of November 2023. Now, the cost of living is rising all over the world, right? And here in Ireland, it gets cold, and the cost of heating is astronomical, between gas, kerosene, electricity, coal, any of that stuff, whatever it is you use to heat yourself is getting expensive. So I'm not really sure why this lady decided to use a €500,000 bus to heat herself up on a chilly night. But the court heard that on the night in question, she approached a Garda car, that's a police car, that was on fire and set fire to a piece of cardboard, which she then threw onto the bus. She was the only person who was involved in setting fire to the bus, which was fortunately empty, causing €477,851, nearly €500,000 worth of damage. It was completely destroyed in the incident, Detective Garda Barry Brennan told Emer Ní Chuireann prosecuting. She used the Garda car, which was on fire, as an accelerant. Sorry, it's not funny. It's just, anyway. The court heard Kelly, who was homeless and addicted to drugs at the time of the incident, got caught up in the riots that evening, which started after some children and childcare workers were attacked on Parnell Street earlier that day. It was a really horrible situation. Defense counsel said Kelly had no political motivations that night. She has 66 previous convictions, including criminal damage, theft, robbery, assault causing harm, and misuse of drugs. She was on bail for other offences at the time and has been in custody since last year, serving a sentence for assault. Nice broad. CCTV footage was shown of Kelly entering a Circle K, which is a petrol station, with other looters before joining a crowd that was gathered around an empty bus. The court heard that rioters had earlier punched the driver and threatened that he would be and told to get off the bus. Kelly was not involved in that group. Now, grand, why go after one of the bus drivers? I mean, it's just an innocent bus driver. You know what I mean? It's a guy who literally drives people around. That's his job. Like, why would you punch the bus driver and threaten him like that? I mean, no, look, I've been on buses in Dublin. They're not exactly the epitome of friendliness, to be fair, because they're putting up with a lot of shit all day. But why go after the bus driver? The driver eventually made his way back on foot to Ringsend Bus Depot. Kelly was, of course, I didn't wear my glasses, like, and my screen's miles away, but Kelly was identified from the 1,700 hours of CCTV footage that Gardaí analysed in the wake of the riot. Again, Gardaí being Irish police. She was seen trying to smash the steering wheel of the bus, damaging the mirror and elbowing the glass window before she grabbed some cardboard and set it alight using a nearby Garda car fire that was in flames. Using a nearby Garda car, I think they mean, that was in flames. A victim impact statement from a representative of Dublin Bus was read out in court by counsel. Employees of Dublin Bus have never experienced anything like the violent, threatening, and volatile behaviour on that day, the statement said. Bus drivers on the front line doing their job became targets for violent behaviour. The statement said Dublin Bus employs 4,000 people, including blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Their morale was deeply affected by the events of the 23rd of November. A total of 8 vehicles were damaged that day, including 3 which were completely destroyed. Like, what's the point in that? The company suffered a loss of about 1.9 million euro. That's about 2.5 million US. John Byrne, senior counsel defending, handed in a handwritten letter of apology to the court from Kelly, which she swiftly followed up by telling the judge to fuck off. But anyway, he said she has limited education, no shit, ran away from home at the age of 14 and comes from a grim background. He said she was under the influence of drugs at the time and went along to the riots to see what was going on. She can't excuse her behavior that day, he said. She had no political motivation for getting involved, being intoxicated. She really can't answer the question as to why she did what she did. Kelly got caught up in a situation which she deeply regrets getting caught up in, he added. Judge Baxter said Kelly fed into the frenzy of lawlessness and destruction on the night in question, and that the disdain displayed by setting fire to the double-decker bus was breathtaking and completely gratuitous. Totally agree. It's completely pointless as well. Yeah, go out there, say what you got to do. This is Ireland, man. This is what we do. If we're not happy with stuff, we go out and we feckin' say it. You know what I mean? It's not that we're not known for burning cities down when we're not happy, okay? Look, I'm not going to play games here. We've a bit of a history of it. In way back, though. You know, this is the modern world. You don't need to go burning down buses and threatening bus drivers. What happened that day was horrible, okay? What happened to those children and those childcare workers by a vicious piece of shit, horrible, disgusting, inexcusable. But why go affecting people's livelihoods, their everything, you know, their lives as well? Like you could have really seriously hurt or killed somebody. There's no sense in it. Like you're responding to that kind of violence with more gratuitous violence against people who have nothing to do with it. It's awful. Anyway, she noted that while Kelly was just one offender on the night in question, she joined the mob mentality and her lack of concern for anyone else was completely shameful. The judge said the events of that night had a ripple effect on many people, including Dublin Bus employees, as evidenced by their victim impact statement. Judge Baxter said it was a pity that Kelly's attitude in court did not reflect what had been said on her behalf by defence counsel, but she accepted Kelly was remorseful for her actions on the day in question. She handed down a 6-year sentence, which was backdated to when her last sentence ended. You know, obviously, you know, this lady has problems. She's been in trouble a lot of times. She was jailed for a pretty serious assault a few years ago as well. So, I mean, this isn't exactly a well-adjusted individual. And it is a problem here in Ireland. There is antisocial behavior that arises out of, you know, drug use and homelessness and things like that. It's not as bad as other places in the world for sure, but it is still pretty bad. The whole riot mentality is obviously a problem. Now, thankfully, touch wood, we don't have a lot of riots in Ireland these days. You know, it comes up from time to time, and every country kind of has these things come up. We are a very political country. We're a very politically active and motivated country. We always have been. We've only had our freedom as a nation to some extent. We don't really still fully have it, but we won't get into that conversation. That's a whole other kettle of fish. But, you know, we're a young country in that respect. We're about 100 years, 1921 pretty much. So, like, we have a history of fighting against the government, against inequality, against things that we have an issue with. We're still finding our feet as a nation, as a people, and all the rest of it. This isn't the answer, though. This, yeah, you might say this is how you fight tyranny. Being angry over something horrible that happened by somebody who's not even from here is not an excuse to burn down our capital city. What is the point in that? Now, thankfully, as I say, it is very rare that things like this happen, but it does happen and it's completely uncalled for. And then, of course, I actually think it's arguably worse what was said there, that she's not, politically motivated by this. That's arguably worse because then it's just, like they said, she was looting and she burnt down a bus for no reason. Even if you had some twisted reason why politically you wanted to burn down a feckin' double decker bus in the middle of Dublin, then maybe I could understand to an extent. I might be like, what are you talking about? Go out there and shout outside the Dáil, the government buildings, whatever. Do that. March with your flags and all your mates. Like, do that. Why burn down a feckin' bus, even if it was politically motivated? It's ridiculous. But anyway, lads and lasses, I wanted to bring you that little story there. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, don't tell the judge to fuck off. It's not a good idea. It's really not a good idea in any capacity whatsoever. Like, because she'll either tell you to fuck off or she'll just send you straight to jail, in this case, she did. So, anyway, thank you so much for joining me, folks. I have my big multi-mashups coming now over the next few days. Today, we're going to have all of my favorite Karens from 2025. That'll be out later. It's taken a long time to make that video, so that'll be out later on today. It's a few hours long. Sit back, relax, enjoy the madness, and we'll catch you in the next one. Sláinte.